Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be speaking about Total War and some new information that has crept online. Now, this information comes from a Total War site called totalwar.ru. The link is in the description if you want to go and read the full article. But basically what they've done, they've data mined the actual game, Total War, and they've actually found some information out. I don't know how true this is. I haven't really got like the source in it. All I'm going off is the actual article itself. So if anyone wants to go and try to attempt to do it, then have at it and let's see if it's real. But from what we know, they've released some information about the DLCs which should be coming within the next couple of weeks or months to do with Total War. So let's jump in and let's see what we've got. So going off the list now, DLC 3, which probably everyone knows about now, is Beastmen. So Beastmen is the next DLC which will be coming out. I think it's coming out in the next couple of weeks actually. You can pre-order it on Steam now and stuff like that. So if you want to go and do that, go and check it out. They've also got a trailer as well. The link in the there's a link in the description for the trailer if you want to go and check that out and stuff like that. But apart from Beastmen, the DLC which is listed after that, this is listed as DLC 5. So we've got DLC 3, which is Beastmen, and then we're missing DLC 4, which I suspect may be actual Bretonnians being a playable race, and then the ones after that is DLC 5, which is Wood Elves. Now that would make sense if they came after Bretonnians, because where the Wood Elves set is actually in the Southern Kingdom, well, the actual southern region of the Bretonnian realm. So it would make sense if you had like Beastmen, Bretonnians and Wood Elves all coming in at the same time. That way they can basically fight over like a new bit of the, well, I won't say new bit of the map, but you know, it puts them all in that same bit of the map then, and maybe we can get some big skirmishes and new campaigns and stuff to do with that. Right, let's move on to the next DLC. So, following Wood Elves, which is DLC 5, you have DLC 6, which there's no information on as of yet, and then you have DLC 8, which is listed here as Tomb Kings. Now, Tomb Kings are basically an army all the way in the south in the desert. They're like an Egyptian themed undead army. Very, very cool looking models. They're actually one of my favourite looking model armies actually on the tabletop. So I'm really looking forward for them to come actually in the game and how they're going to act and stuff like that. Again, it's got to open up the actual world map now, going south, which is another big plus, because we hit the Badlands where the orcs are, and the Tomb Kings are like under the orcs a bit and stuff like that. So you have some human factions down there, like Arabi and stuff like that. So I'm wondering if we're going to have like some kind of humans popping up as well. I'm not sure, but yep, Tomb Kings are DLC 8, which is going to be really super awesome, because I'm really looking forward to how well they work. Okay, let's jump on to DLC 10, chaps. So just like we said before, DLC 8 was Tomb Kings. DLC 9 we have no information on. Now DLC 10 is Skaven. Now Skaven for me are absolutely amazing. I was playing the Empire campaign, and for me, I thought Skaven were going to be like a secret faction popping up, because when you play the single play campaign, sometimes you get like a pop-up message saying like the population has disappeared and strange rune markings have been spotted. Now to me that was just throwing it in your face. That's Skaven and taking people away and killing them and doing experiments, whatever they bloody do. But yeah, Skaven are going to be DLC 10. On the world map, basically Skaven could be anywhere, because they have the old every main probably Empire city, there's a Skaven stronghold underneath it. Same with the actual Dwarves. Everywhere the Dwarves are, there's probably Skaven just a couple of meters away, because that's what Skaven do. They're always around like the big factions and stuff like that. So I'm really looking forward to how they actually implement them on the campaign, and how you can like move across the campaign and stuff like that, because they're going to be one of these races which I don't think they'll be moving across like the top, because that's not very Skaven-esque. They'll be moving like under like the subterranean and stuff like that. So I'm really looking forward to see how that will work and how it will actually go along with the game. Okay, let's move on to the next DLC, guys. This one's going to be awesome. Now, DLC 10 was Skaven, and this DLC, which I'm reading here, is DLC 13. So we're missing 11 and 12. So there's two DLCs between this. I have no idea what they could be. But DLC 13 is going to be Chaos Dwarfs. Now, for me, Chaos Dwarves are absolutely completely insane. You think Dwarves were cool? Now, add Chaos to that mix, and they are just absolutely just mad insane. They're forge machines, the way their models are and the way their models look, they look so evil and so badass. It's really, really awesome how they look. If you haven't saw their armor, so I suggest go to over to the Forge World website and look for Chaos Dwarfs and look at some of the stuff they've got. Some of their siege equipment, some of their like elite beasts and stuff like that are so cool. I mean, there's such a gorgeous looking armor. I cannot wait to see these guys on the actual field and look at all the units and stuff and how they all act and smash and rip everything apart and stuff like that. It's going to be absolutely amazing, absolutely cool. So moving on from that, let's go to the last DLC before we start talking about expansions. So the last DLC is going to be DLC 15, which is going to be the Ogre Kingdoms. Now, again, Ogre Kingdoms are so cool. The amount of units they have, the way they look, the way they act in the lore, they're so, I can't explain how amazing they are. They're basically like mercenaries, but they're Ogre King. His name escapes me at the moment, but he's basically carried and he's got like this like big like meat thing. Like a piece of meat he just eats and stuff like that. He's modeled and he's like surrounded by gold and carried by like some goblins and stuff like that. He's so cool looking. Apparently he like ripped the head off like a big war boss in the lore and stuff like that, which I found was hilarious. But yeah, DLC 15 are going to be the ogres. I'm interested in how actually they're going to work. I wonder if you can, like, say for example I play Empire, could I hire like some ogres out like as mercenaries and buy them to put in my army? I think that might be quite a cool feature. It's the same with like if you're playing other factions as well. You can like hire the ogres to be a part of your army for a certain amount of money per turn and stuff like that. So yeah, that's very interesting to see how that's going to work. Now, let's move on and let's talk about expansions, because this is where some of the really fun stuff starts happening. Now, moving on to expansion number 1. This is going to be the second game in the trilogy. I think everyone more or less suspected this anyway. I know me and all my friends did, but it's basically going to introduce some other races, which are going to be the High Elves, Dark Elves, and Lizard Men. Now, I think everyone knew this was coming anyway, to be fair, because High Elves, Dark Elves, and Lizard Men are huge races actually in the game already. They're not like these secondary races you'll find. So I think, to be fair, it's really not a surprise, but the way they're going to be implemented in the game, I think, may be kind of fun, because High Elves are basically on an island to the east of like the Empire, like out in the sea. If you would think like the Atlantic Ocean, like England, they're basically just like in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean between America and England. That's where their big island is. Now, the only way to get there, if you want to invade it, is by sea, is by actual boats and stuff like that. So I'm wondering if they're actually going to bring boats in the game, like fleets and stuff like that, which would be absolutely fantastic, because the armies themselves, even though they look pretty on like the ground and all the armies and stuff, their actual fleets are even more amazing in my opinion. I absolutely love the fleets. Like the Dwarves have like these big iron ships, and the Empire have like galleons and like old school kind of stuff. So yeah, I'm really interested to see how they'll actually do these fleets, because like I said before, to get to the High Elf place or get to Lustria or Dark Elves, it's more or less you have to take a fleet there. You don't want to be walking there, because you'll have to like walk through like the Chaos Waste if you played Empire and stuff. I don't think that's the best thing to do, because you'll just get absolutely annihilated and lose half your army. So I'm wondering how that's going to turn out. I hope they do have fleet combat in, because I would really like to see fleet combat in this game, because like I said, the fleets and themselves are glorious to look at. So I hope they add that factor in. Now let's move on to the actual armies. So High Elves, again, a brilliant looking army. It's very shiny. They've got dragons. They've got all kind of cool Phoenix Lords, amazing flying mounts, all that kind of jazz. Dark Elves, again, they're basically like a reflection of the High Elves, but evil. If I can put it in simple terms, they're basically evil High Elves, even though they think they're in the right, but I won't get into the lore and stuff like that. Then you have Lizard Men, who are very magic based in my opinion, so I suspect that they're going to have a lot of really powerful magic units in their army, which may cause a lot of devastation. Okay, so let's move on to Expansion Pack 2. So Expansion Pack 2. Now this is going to be the third and final game in the trilogy, and I was thinking, where could they go when they had all the races? And it's basically the answer's right in front of you. They're going to do this expansion based on the Chaos Gods. So you're going to have Khorne, Tzeentch, Nurgle, and Slaanesh. Now, I think when they say they're going to base on the Chaos Gods, I also think we're going to get units, new units and armies. So I think we're going to get a lot of demon themed armies coming through. I don't know if they're going to be on their own, or maybe you, for example, if I'm playing Chaos and I align myself with Khorne, I'll have like Khorne demons and all that kind of funky stuff to actually bring onto the battlefield. I don't know if they're going to be a separate army, or they're basically a part of your army when you pick a certain alignment. So I have no idea how it's going to work, but according to this statement here, is that the final expansion is going to be chaos based. So that's really cool in my opinion, because I haven't really played Chaos actually in Total War. I've been having too much fun with Bretonnians. I absolutely love Bretonnia, if no one knows. But this will probably make me play Chaos, because if I want to play Chaos, I've always said I would like to theme my army on something. So for example, if I wanted to play Chaos, I would choose Nurgle, and I would have this big zombie horde army, a pus and disease and everything, just like a huge army of rot just purging onto an empire town, and watching all their armies dissolve and melt and die from disease and stuff like that. So I'm really hoping you can do all that kind of stuff with this expansion. So yeah, I think if this is right and everything here is correct, I think we're in for I don't know, a couple of years worth of really good content to do with Total War. It will be fun to see where they go after the last expansion. I wonder if they'll start doing Age of Sigmar stuff. Nobody knows. But until then, I hope you've enjoyed the video. Again, if you want to go and read the information yourself, the link is in the description of this article, and you can go here and have a nice big read, because I've only gone over the brief stuff. So go and check that out, and yeah, have a good day guys. Hope you enjoy yourself, and I hope you're excited for this as much as I am. So bye bye, have a good one, see you now.